Stella, Splash, Simba, Boo, Sammy, Richard, Nancy, Goldie, Ziggy, Ringo, Eva, Hydrox, and Ditto, the Lucky Ferals. It is 11:47 p.m. and here's Simba. He's relaxing in this cat tower. I spoke to the animal hospital maybe 20 minutes ago. I gave them a call because I just wanted to check on Stella before I go to sleep. And they said she's doing good. She's getting her fluids. And then they said she would eventually start getting like an insulin drip. And then they're going to do an ultrasound on her liver early in the morning. But they said everything's going okay so far. There's a very strange feeling in the house. It's like an eerie feeling. I've talked to Simba, Splash, and Boo and everyone else, and I've let them know that, Stella's in the hospital right now. She should be home in a few days. But it just feels so weird in the house because this is the first time that any of the cats have left the house and then have not come home the same day. Even when the Lucky Seven were spayed and neutered, they left in the morning, they came back in the same day. So none of the cats have ever had to stay overnight at a hospital before. So it's really weird. So that's why I talked to Simba, Splash, and Boo, and I told them what was going on because they're all wondering. They're like, where's Stella? Where's Stella? Now, the Lucky Seven are nervous because they saw me leave with Stella in the carrier and then come back without her. So it feels really strange right now in the house. And I hope I get some sleep because I'm really tired, but I don't know. It's weird. It's nerve-wracking. Right, Simba? You okay? It's 8:30 a.m. Here's Simba. And this is one of Stella's blankets. And I just rubbed Simba with the blanket. I rubbed Boo with the blanket. I want to see if I can rub Splash with this blanket because I would like to bring this to the animal hospital today and leave it with Stella. So I talked to the vet at the animal hospital. The vets there, they change shifts several times a day. So this is, I guess she just started her shift this morning. And I spoke to her about Stella. Here's Boo. And she told me that Stella has been getting her fluids, and they started the electrolytes. And when they administer the electrolytes, then it kind of puts things out of whack for a while. I mean, she explained it in better words than that, but it's early, and I didn't get much sleep. And, I'm just trying to remember what she said. So she said she expects those to stabilize within a few hours. They also started some insulin, and that she's going to call our vet and, talk to the vet about, what he wants to do, which type of insulin he wants to prescribe for her and stuff like that. And I told her I was just about to call the vet after I spoke to her. I just wanted to speak to her first. So what she told me is that, Stella, she's not out of the woods yet, but she's where she's supposed to be. In the progression of things, she's where she should be as far as, progressing in a better direction. It's not something that I expect them to be able to correct immediately because it's not something that happens immediately. It's something that happens over time. So it does take time to correct. And she says sometimes, it takes a full day on insulin before they start seeing more normal levels of things. So that's where that stands. Here's Splash. And then I did call the vet's office because we have a 9:00 appointment today, and I spoke to the receptionist and I explained the situation to the receptionist. I told her that Stella would not be coming in because she was hospitalized last night and that the animal hospital would be calling the doctor today, and she said she's going to reach out to the animal hospital. And I also asked her to have the vet reach out to me so we could touch base on things. So that's where that stands. The emergency room animal hospital did ask me if I was going to be coming by to see Stella today. So I'm hoping to go by twice today. Hopefully sometime earlier this morning, maybe after I get all the cats fed and situated, and then like later this evening to check on her again. And I'm thinking, they said she's not eating yet. So I'm thinking maybe I need to bring some of like her favorite foods with me. I have to see. I was thinking, like, does Stella have a favorite toy? I don't know. Like, I know she likes wormy toys, but she's in like a little cage, so it's not like she's going to be jumping around or anything. And she doesn't really have any of the cuddly type toys that she likes to play with. That's why I thought I would get her like the blanket. But I'm going to look around. Like, she does like some of the kickers, but I don't think I should be giving her like a catnip toy. I don't want to give her anything with catnip in it while she's there. But she does love those Instinct Raw Bites. So I was thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to defrost some of those, put them in a plastic container. Maybe she'll eat those, or maybe they will let me give those to her. I'm also going to probably bring some squeeze-ups and chewaroos, see if she likes those, and some of like the Shibas that she likes. Maybe I'll just bring a bag of foods to leave there, because I don't know what they're feeding her, and you know she can be very fussy. So I think it's better to give her something that she actually likes. Meanwhile, it's like strangely quiet in the house. It's like really weird. Good morning, Sammy. I'm downstairs with the Lucky 7. I just put a load of wash in the washing machine. And I still feel like they're freaked out because they're not as noisy and lively as they usually are. I think they're worried about Stella because she left the house and she didn't come back. So Stella became a full-time indoor cat at the very end of December in 2016. So Stella has been living in this house for 8 years. And during that time, you know, she has only left to go to the vet. And then she comes back the same day. But now she left and she didn't come back yet. What's going on, Nancy? Where's Stella? Even Nancy wasn't like making noise and trying to go upstairs or anything. You okay? You okay, guys? Stella's in the hospital, guys, okay? She's in the hospital. She'll be back. You okay? You all right, Sammy? Sammy, you okay? You okay, Ziggy? Hello, little Eva. Hello. Hello. Okay. So what I would like to do over the course of today, tomorrow, hopefully I'll get it done, is I really want to clean out Boo's room, just give it a good old, really a deep cleaning, and maybe move some stuff around in case Stella's going to be isolated for a little while until she feels better. And then I'm also going to do the same for my bedroom. I prefer to isolate a cat in Boo's room because it's a smaller room. There's less things for them to get into. It's just easier to, take care of a cat in that room. Also, it has the best windows. It has big windows for the room, and it gets plenty of sunlight, which is good. So that's why I like using Boo's room for that. It perfectly suits that purpose. But Stella doesn't always like being in that room, so that's why I'm thinking, what if I have to put her in my room instead? I would definitely try her first in Boo's room and see how that goes, and then if I have to, put her into my room. How you doing, Ziggy? How you doing, Nancy? So that's what I'm hoping on doing. I also need to clean and organize my kitchen. That's something that I've been meaning to do. Like, for some reason, I always accumulate stuff in the kitchen. It just ends up there. So I need to kind of go through it and either put it in boxes in my storage room or find places for it in the cabinets. I need to also go through the cabinets. You ever have cabinets that, I have a pantry cabinet that's pretty much all food and stuff. And for some reason, that just accumulates. Also, I need to go through that and just get rid of anything that might be old or anything that I don't need anymore or stuff like that. How you doing, Sammy? You okay? So I am going to finish getting ready for my day. Got to make sure I eat some breakfast. And then I'm going to get all the cats fed. And then we'll try to keep everything as much as we can, like their usual routine. Right? But today for breakfast, everyone's having canned food. I hope they like it because I have so many open cans. That's what they had for a snack yesterday. The OG4 had some of the leftover food that I was trying to get Stella to eat, and the Lucky 7 did also. So that was good. And yeah, we're just taking everything one day at a time at this point, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. And that's what's going on. This morning when I woke up, I was thinking about, like, what if I never found those round carriers? And what if I had brought Stella to the vet in one of those more rectangular carriers? She would not have had a cat bed in the carrier. And then I would have, left her there only on, a towel or the little pads or cushions or towels that the animal hospital had. Chances are I would have came home, maybe picked up a bed and brought it back there. But having the round carrier with the bed in it just made it so much easier and more comfortable for Stella. Even when we were waiting there, when we were waiting for the test results and I would check on Stella in the carrier, she was just, happily relaxing in the cat bed in the carrier. So thank you so much, Sharon, for making those cat beds for us. But I'm just so thankful that I found those round carriers. And I don't know if I would have found them if Boo never had his tooth problem, because that's when I found them. When Boo was having his problem with his teeth, that's when I was shopping in Marshall's at the time. I would, drop him off and then, do some shopping. And that's when I found the carrier. And that's when I went to the other Marshalls and found another one. And then when he went for his dental procedure, that's when I found the third one. So we could thank Boo for the fact that we have those round carriers. And Stella is very comfortable in her little emergency room. And here's Richard. He's in his favorite cat bed in his favorite spot on this old chair. He's like, I'm not getting up yet. Here's Boo. There's something that I want to talk about with regards to cat care that is extremely important. And that is following your intuition with regards to your cats and their health. So what happened with Stella is that I kept feeling like something was not right with her, that there was something going on because she just did not, it just didn't feel right, And, she went to the vet in December, and she's been under observation since then. So the fact that she's been under observation maybe made that easier. In January, when she started, not eating as well as she normally eats, it made me think of what Boo went through a few months ago, which was the same thing. He didn't want to eat for a while. And we went through several weeks where, he wasn't eating the food he normally loved to eat, and he only wanted to eat certain foods, and I really had to put a lot of effort into getting him to eat the foods, and he just did not have his usual appetite for a few weeks, but eventually it came back. And now he's back to being, the same Boo that he was. He's back to his favorite foods and, he's back to eating well. So when Stella had a similar issue, that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought, she might have a very, fussy appetite for a week or two, and then, she would kind of get through it the same way that Boo got through it. But when that didn't happen, that's when I started feeling like, okay, well, something's not right here. And I remember thinking maybe it's related to the blood sugar issue with her last test. Although, with her last blood test in December, she did not have full-blown diabetes according to the test. The test showed a slightly elevated blood sugar level. It was just a little bit over 200. That's why she was under observation, and that's why she's been on low-carb foods. It wasn't extremely high or anything. But because of, her change of eating habits, that's why I was thinking, well, could it be related to that? So I started researching, and this is something that's very important also. You have to be on your cat's healthcare team. You can't just leave it up to the vets to take charge of 100% of their healthcare, because nobody knows your cat better than you do. And the vets are not going to know exactly what's going on as well as you do. The vets are going to help advise you. They're going to help with their knowledge and their tool set and their tests and, their experience. But only you are going to be able to truly know what's going on with your cat and how their behavior is changing, or how their eating habits are changing, or how their drinking habits are changing. So I noticed that Stella was drinking quite a bit more water over the past several days, and that's concerning. So I was researching potential issues regarding a cat with diabetes and appetite. And what I was finding was very concerning, because they said if a cat with diabetes doesn't eat, their ketone levels can rise, and that could result in diabetic ketoacidosis, which is what Stella had. Now, when she did not want to eat anything yesterday, that was extremely concerning. And when I saw her moving in slow motion, she wasn't acting like herself, that was very concerning. And that's why I made the decision to bring her to the emergency room, because I know that ketoacidosis needs to be dealt with very quickly. So hopefully she got there in time and she's getting the help that she needs. This is why I'm saying you have to trust your intuition. You can't just leave it up to the vet, because if I didn't trust my intuition, and if I would have just said, okay, well, I have a vet appointment tomorrow, we don't know. Maybe that could have been too late. Do take it upon yourself to learn everything that you can about whatever condition that they have been diagnosed with. And when they get a blood test, make sure you go through all of the values on the blood test and try to even get a copy of it. So yesterday in the emergency room, when they told me that Stella's ketone levels were high and she would need to be, hospitalized and stay there, I had to specifically ask them about the rest of the values on her blood test. And that's when they told me, about maybe the liver issue being a little high. So always ask questions, always try to get as much information as you can. And when I was leaving the emergency room yesterday, I specifically asked for a printout of everything that was on the receipt, so I know exactly what they have planned. Even if you don't know exactly what they're talking about, because they might be referring to, issues you're not familiar with, or, just things you're not familiar with, it's always good to know what's going on. Don't turn a blind eye to it. Don't say, well, she's in the care of the vets and they know what they're doing. Yes, they obviously know what they're doing, but you have to educate yourself also on exactly what it is they're doing. And again, it's because you know your cat better than any vet will. It is 9:22 a.m. and I just got off the phone with the vet. I'm glad I talked to him because based on what I was telling him, he thinks Stella may be suffering from hepatic lipidosis, which is a situation that can occur, if a cat has not been eating enough and if they're losing weight too fast, then it affects their liver, and it can happen to overweight cats because they tend to have more of a burden on their liver. And so he's going to call the animal hospital right away and talk to them about that, because he said it didn't make any sense that her blood sugar was like normal. He said the blood sugar from yesterday's blood test was lower than it was, back in December. And, that it seemed like something was not right. He said it didn't seem like it was a normal case of diabetes because normally they always see like elevated blood sugar. And why was her blood sugar actually lower, but the ketone level's higher? He said there has to be something else going on. And that's when I just explained everything that was going on to him, like all of my observations over the past several months. And that's when he said, oh, we could be dealing with, hepatic lipidosis here. So I'm hoping for the best. I am concerned that, she's not eating. Maybe they'll give her a feeding tube. That's what he said that they would normally have to do. They would normally have to administer a feeding tube. So hopefully they could, get her stable, and then we could go from there. Right, Boo? It's 12 p.m. and here's Nancy. She's hanging out in this cat tower in the living room. And I am just doing anything I can to keep busy. I need to sit down at my desk and actually get work done. But I don't want to do that. I just want to keep moving because I'm just like a ball of stress right now. I can feel it like in the pit of my stomach, in my solar plexus area. And I've been drinking water like crazy. I have like a dry mouth. I've been drinking coconut water, juice. I also ate half of a banana, but I'm not hungry. But I don't want to force myself to eat anything, but I know I need to eat something. I'm hoping that everything is going well with Stella and that she is responding in a good way to the feeding tube and the additional electrolytes that they are injecting into her. So, it's completely out of my hands. There's nothing I could do. Although sometimes with this one, I do wonder about their experience levels because they do tend to have younger vets there. Although, like last night, there was an older vet on duty. But just because someone's an older vet doesn't necessarily mean that they have better knowledge, but they usually do have more experience, which is why I'm very thankful for the vet that the cats go to. Hopefully, it is his experience that is helping Stella today, and hopefully the feeding tube will help her, and hopefully she could get stronger and stabilized and can come home in a few days. Right, Nancy? So that's what's going on. I've just been doing laundry and cleaning up around the house and taking the rest of the Christmas decorations down and putting up like spring decorations and just trying to keep moving because if I don't like how I feel if I just sit down. I was thinking of going outside and actually scrubbing litter boxes, but it's too cold. It's only like 45 degrees, although it is sunny. And I don't need to make myself sick right now. Like, dealing with all this stress, I don't need to be out there making myself potentially sick. So I just need to stay healthy and just, stick to our daily routine the best that we can. Another thing that's super helpful in times of stress are these Bach Rescue Remedy lozenges. It says natural stress relief on them. And I took one of these yesterday before taking Stella to the animal hospital. I took one of these while I was at the animal hospital. I took one of these after I got home from the animal hospital. I took one of these before I went to bed. I took one of these this morning, and I'm going to take another one right now. They come in different flavors. These are black currant flavors, and they're almost like a cough drop. See what they look like? Yeah, you just suck on them, and I swear they really work so good. They definitely take the edge off stress. They definitely help relax you. They don't do it like a pharmaceutical drug would do it. They do it in a very subtle way. Sometimes you don't even notice it, but it does make a difference. Like there's definitely a difference before you take these and then after you take these. So I'm just going to take another one of these. It's 12:27 p.m. Here at Ziggy. She's eating some of this cat grass. Now, I did plant some fresh cat grass yesterday, so hopefully they'll have some fresh cat grass soon, but I did give this cat grass some more water, so that's good. I just got a call from the animal hospital. They said Stella got through sedation okay. She's been waking up, and all her vitals were good during the procedure. Everything's fine. So they're going to continue to monitor her. They're going to start feeding her through a feeding tube through her nose. They say it goes directly into her stomach. They're going to check her electrolyte balance, so fingers crossed that everything continues to go well. They said they're going to check in with me in another few hours. Meanwhile, let me show you what I picked up at Petco yesterday. So this is Purina Tidy Cats Tidy Care Alert cat litter. It says it has color changing crystals that help monitor the health of your cat. So when I was picking up food for Stella, I did have it in my mind. What if her ketone levels are high? And, the last time I took her to the vet in December, they could not get a urine sample because her bladder was empty. And so I was thinking to myself, well, what if I try out this litter? I never saw it before. Maybe it would help with a diagnosis. So what this is, it's a crystal litter, and when a cat pees in it, it actually changes colors to let you know what's going on with their urine. And they say what you want to do is you want to start with a clean litter box. So I went downstairs and got a clean litter box, and you want to fill it with 2 to 3 inches of Alert. So I basically just put this entire bag in it because I used an extra large litter box. It says within 2 hours of use, compare litter crystals to color guide. Keep observing the color since it can vary naturally throughout the day, particularly 1 to 2 hours after eating. After 5 days, determine the most common color within the normal range. This is your baseline. And then it says you want to scoop your solids daily to ensure optimal absorbency. No urine clumps means easy maintenance. Stir frequently, adding Alert as needed to maintain 2 to 3 inch depth. After 20 to 30 days for one cat, dispose of used litter. Wash box using mild detergent, dry, and refill with 2 to 3 inches of Alert litter. How you doing, Sammy? Now, they do show you the colors. On the side of the bag, they give you the color guide. So normal is a range from yellow to olive green. They say that's most typical. Within 1 to 2 hours after eating, the color may appear more blue, dark green, but should return to your cat's baseline color. And then they say visit your vet if you see these colors. Acidity, which is deep yellow-orange, means acidic urine, which may be associated with potential metabolic acidosis or kidney tubular acidosis. Alkalinity, blue, dark green, means alkaline urine, which may be associated with a potential urinary tract infection or elevated risk of struvite stone formation. And then red shows the presence of blood, which may indicate serious health concerns. We recommend contacting your vet immediately. And this is the litter. This is what it looks like. Maybe I'll turn the light on. So it is mostly white, but it does have these kind of reddish brown specks in it. And the cats have actually been using it. They have not pooped in this yet, but they have peed in it. I'm going to get a scoop and let's just see if there's anything in it right now so we could look at colors. It doesn't clump, but if a cat uses it, you can definitely see like a ball of color. So Simba was the first one to use this yesterday, pretty soon after I put it over here. And his pee was yellow. Like it just made like a yellow clump. So I looked at the bag and it said like yellow to olive green could be normal. That's fine. Like if it's a deep yellow, orangey yellow, then, it could be acidic. So I was happy to see that one look normal. And then a few hours later, Splash used this litter box and his was like almost like a light olive green color. And I saw that was normal also. So happy about that. So far, those are the only 2 cats that have used this. So I'm just kind of testing it out right now. The one thing that I do have to say, it does kind of track, and you could tell that it's, the silica versus clay by the way it sounds. Like obviously if I'm walking around barefoot or with socks on, you don't hear it. But if I'm wearing slippers or shoes, like you hear, it's like a different crunch under your feet. So that's how I know that there is some tracking involved with this. The other thing is that it's not clumping. So after a cat uses it, what you have to do, like after you look at the colors, it just kind of blends back in. And so far, there's no odor. Like obviously I've only had it 24 hours, but there's no odor from it. No one's pooped in it yet. That'll be a test. If someone poops in it, then we'll see what kind of odor protection this does have. But knowing how the cats are, like whenever I've tried different types of litter, like the last time I tried the cedar litter, the cats peed in it, but they never pooped in it. So I'm feeling like maybe the cats are just going to pee in this and not poop in it. But that's fine because that's the purpose of this litter, to just kind of get a baseline indication of, what their urine is looking like. So we're testing it out. I'm just going to see what happens. Are the cats going to continue to use it, or they're not going to want to use it? Sometimes they'll use a litter once and then they don't want to use it anymore. But that's what this is. So if you have some concerns about your cat's health, you might want to try out this litter just to get an idea of, what's going on. I know that sometimes it can be very difficult to get a cat to a vet. I know especially people that don't live as close to animal hospitals as I do, or don't live as close to vets' offices as I do. Sometimes, they have to take a lot of the cat health care onto themselves. So this potentially could be a good tool. I do have to say it was very expensive. This was $24 for this bag. So if I was going to put this in like every litter box in the house, it would just be prohibitively expensive. I normally pay $11.99 for a bag of the Dr. LCs, and it's pretty much like the same size. Like obviously this is lighter. It's not going to be as heavy, but it's pretty much the same volume that I get in the heavier bags of clay litter. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know about this. Look at Nancy. This is a runner from the Dollar Tree. It's one of these grass runners from the Dollar Tree. Nancy's all cuddled up in it. That's Sammy making noise. I'll open the window, okay? You want me to open the window? I'm definitely feeling a little bit better knowing that Stella got through the sedation, because I know that, the vets were worried about her. Hopefully she'll continue to do okay. So, like an hour ago, my stress was at, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was at like a 9.5. Like it was up there. Let's say it was 9. Right now, maybe I'm like a 6 or a 7. So it's definitely a little bit lower. I'm thinking, I'd like to take a walk. If I'm not gonna scrub litter boxes, then I'm thinking maybe I should go for at least a short walk. I should also eat something, but I'm not hungry, so I'm just gonna continue to drink juice. Right, Boo? Like, there's nothing worse than being stressed and having an upset stomach at the same time. I just need to make sure I'm getting some, calories and sugar in the juice so my blood sugar doesn't tank. Because that can happen if you don't eat. Right, Boo? It's 1:12 p.m. Here's Simba. He's been laying in the chair next to me. This is his favorite spot when I sit down to work on my computer. I'm just about to go out and run some errands. I have to go to the post office, and I have to run to one of the local malls to make a few returns, and maybe run into a supermarket and pick something up. I don't know yet. But I'm going to do it now while I'm feeling somewhat human. I'm hoping I continue to get good calls from the animal hospital, but in case I get a bad call, I just want to do things now while I feel like doing them. It is 4:35 p.m. and here's Sammy. And I'm dealing with stress and anxiety. And I've realized that if I sit down to try to get work done, then it really hits me. And that's when I really feel it. And, it's just absolutely horrible. But if I'm moving around and if I'm doing things, then I feel like I'm dissipating that energy and it doesn't feel as bad. So that's what I've started to do again. I've started to just, I've scooped all the litter boxes, put fresh water in all the water bowls. I'm cleaning up some things in the kitchen, taking some stuff out to the garbage. I'm just trying to keep myself moving around so I don't have to sit still and just feel this anxiety, because that's what I'm feeling right now and I don't like how it feels. Obviously, it's from Stella being in the animal hospital, but it's also, because I don't know what's going on there, and also I have no control over what's going on there. So, I can only hope for the best at this point as to, everything that they're doing, and hope that everything goes well with the treatment that Stella's on. There's no guarantees with anything, so that's why I'm trying to think positive and, envision a full recovery, a remarkable recovery. So I don't know, when they're going to call me back. I would like to go there this evening, but what's going to happen when I go there is I'm going to see Stella with a feeding tube up her nose, and there's another line in her neck. And I think I don't know if there's still an IV line in her arm or wherever they put it. So there's a lot going on, and I don't want to disrupt anything or be in the way of anything. And I don't want to upset Stella. I don't know. I don't want to upset her. And I really believe that cats can communicate telepathically. So that's what I've been trying to do with her. Communicate telepathically, letting her know everything's going to be okay. And that we're all waiting for her to come back and, get well. So that's what's going on here. I do need to sit down and get work done though. But when I start to do that, then it just like all hits me. It's like a ball of anxiety. So we'll see what happens. It is 6 p.m. and I've actually been able to sit down at my desk and get some work done because I took one of these. This is Nature's Plus Ultra 1 Daily, multivitamin and mineral with beta carotene. These are just capsules. It's basically a really high potency multivitamin capsule. And for some reason, I always forget that I have these. This is something that I took many years ago when I totally burnt myself out. Like I was working ridiculously long hours. I was working like a full-time job and then I was like running a business on the side and I just completely burnt myself out. And this is one of the things that I took and it really works great for anxiety and for like nervous tension. And so that's why I remembered that I had this and I'm like, oh, I haven't taken this in a while. So I just took one. Oh my God, these work so good. They have a lot of B vitamins in them and it's just totally like I could just feel it. It just takes anxiety away. It's so good. The back is a little bit dirty. I have some like dark honey stuck to it, but there's vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, vitamin B12, biotin, pantothenic acid, choline, calcium, iron, iodine, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, chromium, molybdenum, PABA, and inositol. And as far as like the percent of daily values, like it's really high, especially on the B vitamin complex. And when your body's under stress, you use up a lot of B vitamins. You also use up a lot of vitamin C. But I've been drinking a lot of juice today, so I feel like I'm getting my vitamin C that way, no problem. But then I was like, well, I haven't really been eating very well today. I ended up having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I thought it would just be, something easy to digest. I don't know if that made anything worse because, I ate it on like white bread and there was sugar in the jam. So sometimes when you have like simple carbohydrates, that can make anxiety worse. So I took one of these and I'm feeling a lot calmer right now. I'm just like, it totally took the edge off. That's the best way that I could explain it. It took the edge off. So maybe I was at like up to a 9 before, when I was trying to, sit down and get work done, or if I was trying to lay on the bed and relax. I couldn't even do that because I just had too much nervous energy. So then I was moving around again and I was like, oh, I remember I have these. So I took one of these. I said, I'm going to sit down. I've actually been able to get work done on the computer. So yeah, that's what's going on. Here's Simba. He's still in the chair next to me. The other thing that's going on is yesterday, like last night when I left the animal hospital, one of the, I don't know if it was a doctor or a vet tech, but they specifically told me, like, she's like, I want you to know that no news is good news. She goes, if you don't get a call from us, it's usually because, there's nothing bad going on. So that's why I'm hoping. I haven't heard anything, since earlier today. And it also makes me more nervous every time the phone rings because I'm like, oh my God, is it bad news? So that's what I'm dealing with. Hello, Nancy. It's 11:33 p.m. and here's Nancy. She wants to stay up here with the OG4 minus Stella. Stella's still in the hospital, and I had a chance to visit her this evening. I went over there around 8:45 or so. When I got there, she was stable, but they moved her. So yesterday, she was in like a little cage that was like off to the side. You okay, sweetie? So it was a little bit more quiet. She had some privacy, and I thought that would be good for her. Obviously, Stella was not happy there yesterday. Here's Simba. So when I got there today, they moved her to a cage that's twice the size, and they were like really proud of themselves. So I hung out with Stella for a little while. And what happened was when I was sitting there with Stella, because they let you sit on the floor next to the cage, I was realizing that there were like really big dogs, like only feet away from her. There were like big Labradors, and like a Great Dane came in. I mean, anyone who comes in the room would be like right next to her cage, if not very close to right in front of it. I mean, it was like Grand Central Station where she was, and I could tell that she was stressed out. I mean, she was laying there with her head in the water bowl, and I've never seen Stella do anything like that. And at first I was worried. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to like drown or asphyxiate herself. But they're like, no, don't worry. We don't really keep much water in because she likes to put her head in there. And I was like, guys, this is like a stress reaction on her part. So I looked around the room and I found like an empty cage in the corner, in like a back corner. I'm like, can we please move her over there? So they got it ready for her. They, sprayed it down, disinfected it, and they were very nice. They moved some nice blankets in there for her, and they found her bed. So what they did was they put her bed through the laundry. They say they do a lot of laundry there. So I guess whoever was doing laundry just took everything out of the cage that she was in and dumped everything in the laundry, which I was not happy about, because I was really happy that she had the bed with her, because then she has all the smells of home with her. You know, with cats, scents are really important. So by them putting it through the laundry, she didn't have any smells of home. But thankfully what I did was I brought like a blanket from Sharon. So that had smells of everyone on it. I brought her like a little worm toy that she likes. And I also brought some of her like favorite squeeze ups and churros and some Shibas and a fancy feast, because I was hoping that, maybe I could see if she wanted to eat those. And they were happy that I did that, because they had like little plates of food near her, but she didn't want to eat any of it. And I said, yeah, for the past few days, or like the previous day, she didn't want to eat anything. So she was still not eating anything. They did have the feeding tube in, and the protocol is to give her like 25% of like normal calories today. And then tomorrow it'll be like 50% of normal calories. And then the next day it'll be like 75% of normal calories, because, they don't want any issues with refeeding. So hopefully the hope is that once she starts getting more calories, she'll start feeling better and actually want to eat on her own again. So I was asking them, I was like, is she going to come home with a feeding tube? And the girl that I was talking to was like, no, hopefully she'll be eating before she goes home. And I said, well, I've been, looking into other people that have had a cat with a similar situation, and the cat actually came home with a feeding tube. So she was surprised to hear that. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, we're just taking it one day at a time. We're just trying to get Stella well, hopefully get her eating again. The other thing that they did, they were checking her gums in her mouth. And I was like, because, I ask a lot of questions. So when they were checking her gums, I was like, well, what is it you guys are looking for? And they're like, oh, well, there's a little bit of jaundice here. There's some yellowing. And I said, oh, okay. So then she definitely does have hepatic lipidosis. And they confirmed that. They said her bilirubin levels were a little bit high. I said, I was concerned about that, and I was actually checking like the whites of her eyes for several days before bringing her in, because she had not been eating all of her food, and I heard that, that's something that could happen along with the hepatic lipidosis. You'll see like the jaundice, but I said I didn't notice anything, and they also said that they didn't notice it yesterday, but it seemed to present itself today, and they said that's something that could happen once you start refeeding them, that their bilirubin levels could actually go up a little bit. So hopefully that'll resolve itself. Right, Nancy? Do you miss Stella? Nancy, do you miss Stella? Last night, Nancy was up here, but then eventually she wanted to go downstairs. Like right before I went to bed, she's like, I'm going to go downstairs. And I hope she goes downstairs, because Splash, doesn't really like it when Nancy's up here. You going to go downstairs, Nancy? You want to go downstairs? You want to stay up here? Simba's getting along better with Nancy. Like, he's not really afraid of her. They're learning to coexist. You okay, Nancy? So what I'm hoping is that tomorrow I could take care of the cats. Then what I'd like to do is take my laptop over to the animal hospital and camp out with Stella and hang out there for like a few hours, maybe, you know, from like 11 to 1 or 11 to 2, and then come home and, you know, do what else I need to do. Today I bought a whole bunch of ingredients to make homemade raw food, and that's what I'm hoping to do tomorrow. Now, the animal hospital told me that I'm not allowed to bring raw food in there. For whatever reason, you're not allowed to bring in raw food. So I said, well, can I bring in like seafood? I said, she's been eating like steamed shrimp and steamed scallops. And they said, that's okay, but it just can't be raw food. But that does present a problem because, you know, Stella mostly likes raw food. She's not the biggest fan of eating canned food. I might also bring some dry food in. I don't know. I'm going to see. I'm going to put together like a little picnic basket for her and see if she'll eat something. Hopefully, I hope she feels better. I just really want her to be able to relax and get sleep. And that was my concern, like where they had her in that cage that was right in the middle of everything. I'm like, there's no way she's going to be relaxing there or sleeping. And then when she moved to the corner, you know, she actually closed her eyes and she was like starting to take a nap. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to leave. It was already after 10. And I was like, I'm going to let her just relax and take a nap. Stella, how are you doing, Stella? You okay? So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she likes her new cage in that location and she'll be able to just really relax and heal herself and get well. Now, I do have to say they have a lot of tubes in her. So the feeding tube goes into her nostril. Then it goes around the back. They have like a thing around her neck. And I think there's like another, like an IV line or something, a fluid line that's going into her neck. And then they have like an insulin drip going into her also. So she has like a lot of lines coming into her. But hopefully they could keep everything stable and everything could progress into a good direction. You know, it is kind of sad to see her like that. But I keep telling myself it's just a temporary situation and we'll get through this. And once she gets through this, then, you know, we'll just work on recovery, kind of like rehab. You know how when people go into rehab after like a major health issue. So once we get through this, then Stella will go into like rehab, and then we could work on just getting her health improved. And, you know, she's dealing with a lot right now. So she's dealing with potentially diabetes. She's dealing with ketoacidosis. And she's also dealing with hepatic lipidosis. And all of those, you know, are manifestations of just a totally acidic system. So her body was breaking down fat faster than it could, like, metabolize it. And, you know, thankfully, when I talked to my vet, he was able to, you know, really pinpoint what was going on. Nancy's here because she wants to see what's going on the patio. She's just nosy. Right, Nancy? Right, Nancy? You going to go downstairs, Nancy? No? You going to stay there? Okay, I'm going to bed, Nancy. I'm really tired, but at least I saw Stella, so my nerves are not as bad as they were before. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.